absolute stud inside of the cage and outside of it, Mr. Cossack himself, Chris Mixan. Oh, didn't push the button right. Look at me. Get paid the big bucks. Don't even push it. What's up, Chris?
What's up, Dave?
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
Hi.
I'm well. How you doing?
Where are you out there in the west in the mountains right now?
I am in Denver.
Denver, Colorado. There you go. We were talking about that with John earlier about maybe I think it was a bold move by you, in which I respect dearly. I respect anyone that goes for it and kind of puts their chips in the middle. You know, you're doing really good things here in this area, Port Orange and Daytona Beach and stuff like that nature, but to maybe take it to another level or maybe take it to that next step, making a major move personally and, you know, in your career to go out there to Colorado. So I respect that immensely about you, brother.
Yeah, no, it was not a decision taken lightly for sure.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I didn't, like I said, put my chips in the middle and everything, but it wasn't complete. Like, I didn't move out here alone. Like, my sister lives out here, you know, really close by. So, and I was doing trips up here anyway, so I already established a relationship with the gym.
Sure.
With Team Elevation before I moved out. So it was definitely a big gamble, but it was also a known quantity. But I knew I'm getting something here that I wasn't getting back home as much as I miss home.
Yeah. It's funny when you say, is it 100% home? Do you think one day you'll be back kind of living in this area, or you don't know what's next for you?
Dude, I fight the urge like monthly, you know, like something
Okay,
happens here.
I like that.
I like genuinely, I don't like living here. Like it's not my culture. It's not my scene. I don't, you know, mountains are cool and all that, but I'm definitely a beach guy. You know, I grew up a beach guy. You know, and like my lease is up in November again, so I'm gonna have that thing. But you know, I'm just ultimately it's not a move for. It's definitely not a permanent move. There's no way I'm gonna retire out here.
Okay.
You know, unless something crazy happens, but I couldn't even imagine what that would be. Yeah, like I said, I fight that off very frequently, especially when winter comes around.
What's that elevation difference like?
Well, it's kind of weird because like when you first get here, you know, John Michael, who just came on your show, he came out here recently for like a week of training, and everybody always says the same thing. Like the first few days they're out, they're like, oh, I don't even notice the altitude, but like as soon as like that third, fourth day hits, and you know that blood oxygen starts getting a little bit low, people really start to feel it. But yeah, like where I'm at is, you know, like Mile High Stadium, you know, like we're all in that area. So I think it's about upper fours, low fives for the field, 4,000, 5,000. But yeah, I mean, I think it helps. I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt. You know, they have the Olympic training in Colorado Springs for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's kind of knock on wood, but since I've really been out here, both my fights I've had have ended pretty early. So I haven't really been able to push that, you know, elevation to the test. But yeah, I definitely, I feel like I notice it because when I go back to Florida and I train, I've been on the couch for a little bit, you know, as much as I sit on the couch. My cardio feels awesome all the time. So.
Yeah.
To a layman person or to a casual person watching, when I say that, when you're up there in the mountains and you're breathing that, what's the difference? And you said when you came back here, do you feel is it easier to breathe when you're closer to level because of where you're from, or before you got there, is it harder to breathe multiple days later? Like what's like, to speaking in casual terms, if I could say?
So the way I understand it so far, and you know, I'm not an expert by any means, but as far as I understand it, as far as I've experienced, coming from low elevation to high elevation, you feel it. Like I said, after those first few days, you really start to feel it. And it's not necessarily like, I felt like, because I ran a lot of distance when I first moved up here, and I didn't really notice it that much. And I was running long distances, you know, 6-8 miles, and you know, still keeping like a pretty normal pace. But it's those sprints. It's when you're doing those really, really high intensity things, or, I mean, the biggest thing here would be wrestling. You know, like once you're in those crazy wrestling exchanges, you get in those scrambles, or even if it's not crazy, if it's just very difficult and you have to exert a lot of effort in a very short amount of time, that's when you really, you know, feel the difference in your wind. And it's one of those things where your body feels good, but just your lungs are not there.
Gotcha. All right, a little behind the scenes real quick. So I was lucky enough. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I almost reached out to you, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to, especially, you know me, like I try week of fight or day of the fight. I try to stay as far away as possible afterwards. Hey, let's talk and hug and do whatever we do. But before the fight, didn't want to say anything to you. We're at weigh-ins and you're lucky enough to be as close as to me as possible. And multiple people in the PFL, because of just our past, and I remember talking about you even on the Challenger Series, so on and so on and so on. So they knew we had a little bit of a connection right away. Chris, I had 3 people from the Professional Fight League. One guy pretty high up in the ranks too. They text me and they go, "What is on Chris Mixan's back?" Everyone was like, it was like the funniest thing. They didn't talk about how I thought you looked ginormous, and I told you that when I saw you right afterwards. You looked. I've seen you a lot, especially in your fight career and day of and before of. I've never seen you look this big. You look ginormous. But everyone in the PFL was talking about your back tattoo. So talk about me about like when did you have that always in mind? Did it just come up? How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I have tattoos to begin with. You know, I've got a couple sleeves and stuff, and I was having a little lull where you know, just after my fight with for LFA with Joey Hart back in January, where I couldn't really find any fights. And
what happened during that fight, by the way?
First round knockout. Yeah,
first round. Okay.
Yeah, you know how we do it, you know. But I wouldn't say it was like I knew I wanted to get something like, you know, more, because I have some Viking stuff, I have some samurai stuff, just things that I think are cool. But I wanted something that was really more like, you know, rooted in like my heritage and stuff, and you know, because I'm very proud to be, you know, from my mom's side Ukrainian, and that's a huge part of my identity and you know how I carry myself. And I wanted something, you know, Cossack. Like I wanted something big, and I was thinking of, you know, chest, and I was like, nah, I like my front side the way it looks. I don't see my back very often, so I'm gonna get that done. Yeah. So, and then I found this really good artist. His name's Andrei Kolbasin. I think he's based out of Los Angeles, but yeah, he's a tremendous artist. And I just saw it on like an Instagram ad, and I saw he was in Colorado Springs, and yeah, you know, inquired about it, and he drew it all up by hand, and you know, completely contrived it. And then yeah, I fell in love with it, so we got it done. And actually, kind of crazy. I got that tattoo finished 3 weeks before the fight, which is, and it's huge, you know. Yeah. It was kind of funny, but it was one of those things where like he's a guy who travels a lot, and he's very in demand. Like I think he has like 100,000 followers on Instagram, wins a bunch of tattoo competitions everywhere he goes, and I had already paid my deposit like back in May or something. So I was like, dude, I can't let that money go. So we're getting it done. And even I know my coaches were feeling a little cross about it. I didn't miss it, but the one thing I said is, regardless of how painful it's going to be, I'm not missing any training because of this. So like I had the tattoo finished on a Saturday, and that Monday we had wrestling practice. And then and also I'm doing private sessions with my coach Carrington Banks. And but I was wearing, you know, long sleeves, covered it up, you know, took care of it as I could. But even internally, mentally, I was like, I can't complain about this at all, because this was a decision I made. I can't let this bleed into other things. So it got to the point to where I was quiet about it, to the point to where my coaches forgot that I even got it. And we're doing like wall wrestling, like on the cage and stuff. And he's grabbing it, or I'm doing get-ups from bottom. And yeah, it was extremely painful. Like between getting the back done and the training, like the weeks following it was probably one of the most painful things I've ever done in my life. But yeah, dude, it was. But I think there was a psychological edge to it to a degree, because I knew I'm fighting a guy. Yeah. With my fight in the PFL with Kenley St. Louis, I know he's going to try and wrestle me. I mean, most people are going to try and wrestle me, so that was kind of the game plan. Was, you know, fighting off the wall, don't accept positions. If I hit the mat, I'm up. You know, always working and fighting every position immediately. And it was like almost an additional motivation to fight immediately, because I don't want my back on the ground so badly, because it's gonna hurt so bad. I'm fighting, I'm turning. And then like then we had a situation where this guy, one of my teammates, Dante Shiro, who's, you know, I think he's like number 2 or number 3 in all of the US at welterweight. But he took me down with a double, and, you know, had like my legs wrapped up, and I was like levitating, post on the ground, trying to keep my back off. And dude, I had some pretty funny situations as a result of that. But like I said, to a degree, I feel like it may have contributed in the slight fact of I would have to fight position so quickly to avoid like physical pain.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There you go. Meant to be. Like, how many hours?
Oh, dude, probably, I think total 5 8-hour sessions. It was.
I'm telling you guys, go check it on Instagram. I'm telling you, I have the best view of it. When I was in Charlotte, Chris is like 3 feet in front of me, a little bit in the front, and I had no idea. I don't know if you posted it or not yet. I'm not even too sure. You take off your shirt. I'm like, Chris Mixan has a full back tattoo. And then I'm telling you, I'm recording on my phone. I just have people on the PFL text me. I'm like, stop texting me. I'm live recording this feed right now. It was the funniest thing.
I couldn't even have any pictures because it was still healing, you know? So,
yeah, there you go.
It actually just finished healing like right on fight week, which, you know, I mean,
if I was going to get tattooed like the freaking week before, I'm obviously going to cancel it. But I was like, 3 weeks, I think I can manage that. So it was an educated, stupid decision.
Hey, I love
Would you say it's your favorite tattoo?
Oh, by far. Yeah, by a country mile.
Ooh, I like that. A country mile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 26 years old, 7-1, 3-0 in the PFL. And we were talking to John about this kind of same type of thing. This past weekend, there's no UFC, Chris, but there was a sport called DBX that didn't exist a year or two ago. Misfits Boxing. Again, I just talked to Jillian Robertson about this. I know what Darren Till got paid. It's bizarre. It's crazy. It is a ton of money out there other than those 3 shiny letters of the UFC or a promotion that pays you now, like the Professional Fight League. If I had to say to you in 2026, Chris, like, is that, you know, I know we talked before, maybe UFC was the goal. It seems like you're happy now in the PFL, or you're just maybe happy to get a big check from one of these organizations that never existed, right? What's next? What's kind of your next move, you think, in 2026?
Realistically, I think it's probably just going to be
MMA for me.
Yeah.
But as you know,
because, you know, we go way back to the Ocean Center back in, 2018, 2017.
Yes, sir.
But, yeah, so, my boxing is, my base is boxing, and I like fighting like that. I love boxing. I love watching boxing. So I'd love to do that again, but just based on how my career is going right now, I realistically, I don't see myself doing anything like that. But I also don't want to, down the road, sure. Like if something happens where I'm not with a big organization anymore, or some opportunity comes up that's going to pay me really well, or that's just really fun. Like if I get an opportunity to box a few times, that'd be tremendous. Because that's the one thing I really miss moving out to Denver is boxing. Because all these motherfuckers just wrestle me. Yeah.
Okay. You're still last time even John told me this. You did a lot of stuff with Gaethje, right? For that fight camp between Poirier and Gaethje, right?
I worked with him. I wouldn't say a lot, but I worked with him a number of times. Yeah, for the Holloway and for the Poirier fights.
Okay, for both. Okay, are you? There's a lot of rumors out there that maybe Justin Gaethje is fighting a Spaniard for the lightweight championship later this year. He has like a boxing style, a little bit like Chris Mixan. Is that something that is on your radar at all?
I'm too tall. Yeah.
Okay, too tall. Yeah, that's true. You are a monster to Ilya.
Yeah. Ilya is what, 5'7", 5'8". Yeah, I'm not sure that's. I mean, I wouldn't say no if they asked me to work. I love working with Gaethje. I love going out to Onyx with them. I mean, I did some of my parts of my camp up at Onyx, but I was still just working with Banks. I'm not like clicked up or anything. And I can't really speak to that rumor. But the only thing I can say is I have seen Gaethje in the gym, sparring and stuff. So, do with that information as you will.
Yeah. All right, bottom line, Justin Gaethje versus Ilya is official. Bottom line. ESPN, let me that's funny. Yeah. I love it. But for you personally, are you I don't want to say this the wrong way. Do you think you're kind of done in 2025? I hate to say there's 4 months out there, but there's not a lot of PFL openings, especially here in the States. But is that kind of fair to me to say that you're probably done fighting this calendar year?
I hope not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's expensive out here, dude. I need the money. Straight up. Like, that's not even, I love fighting and I love competing and everything, but it's kind of getting to the point to where, like, because I moved out here with, some money put away. I was like, can manage for a little bit, but I definitely greatly underestimated how expensive it is out here.
So I need the money. So I'll fight in Europe.
I'll fight in Abu Dhabi. I don't care.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
hey,
whatever they got for me, exactly.
I'll text Ray Seffo back. Maybe him can relax texting me about a back tattoo. Get my guy Chris Mixon a fight. You know what I mean? Come on, Ray.
I'll get him to see it in person.
Yeah, for sure.
There we go.
Anything else for Chris Mixon?
Do you have anyone in mind? I know you're kind of talking about fighting anywhere, anytime, but do you have anyone particular in mind?
I wouldn't say like anyone particular, and I don't want to make like official call outs or anything like that because I don't think I'm that kind of person. But I had a couple of fights that I was offered that fell through for one reason or another, and one of them was there's a guy, Sarek Shields, I think his name was, where I got offered a fight with him, and then I think he got signed with PFL right away. And then I was also offered one of the old boys from Fusion, JP St. Louis. I think he just fought the week after me, I think. And
yeah, he won in Hollywood.
Yeah, but we offered to fight him. I got offered to fight him. I think it was November 4th, or not November. Shoot, August 4th.
Yeah.
It was a card that Johnny just fought on.
Yeah,
I got offered to fight him on that one for their Combat Night title, but we both ended up getting scooped up by the PFL. So those are two guys that I know of, like that exist in the PFL, I guess. So as respectful of a call out as I can have, those are two guys I know that are in the company. But that being said,
but okay, real quick. So Chris, are you not signed officially like with the PFL? You're not like under their umbrella right now?
I am. So I'm under for 3 fights or 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my current deal.
So for another, just say, I'm jokingly talking about this, but not maybe. If Island Fights on November 14th wanted to put Chris Mixon in the main event, is that something that's not possible, or is it something you would have to bring to the PFL brass to be like, hey, can I do this?
I think I'd have to bring it to the brass. Yeah, but I also overheard after my last fight that they want to give me a new deal. So, and I haven't had any details on that, on what that looks like or anything. And I don't want to obviously speak too much about it because it's the business side and stuff. But realistically, I doubt they'll let me do something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, I am under them for the 12 months.
Right.
I know. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Gotcha. A little fun bonus question here mostly for the Fight Bananas fans. I think Chris might know the answer. Does anyone know who has been the longest podcast guest in Fight Bananas history? The answer by the laugh is Chris Mixon. One time, John Rodford, myself, and Chris Mixon were like, hey, man, I used to have a studio space literally right diagonal to this, a little cool room. We just got in it, chopped it up, talked about nothing. We're like, hey, man, to come in, we'll have fun 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, something like that. When I tell you this podcast was in 3 hours and 20 minutes, it felt like a Joe Rogan experience. It was a Fight Bananas experience in this, Chris.
It's funny because it's like, I don't know, I feel like podcasts weren't as huge back then.
Yeah.
So, I didn't really understand what was going on or anything. So that was really just like 3 like friends just hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging out.
There just happened to be cameras and, microphones and all that.
Yeah. Crazy. Leah, anything else for Mr. Mixon? Mr. Cossack?
No, Chris. Excited to see you fight next, whenever that is,
I know.
Yeah, me too. I just hope to get my walkout and my nickname right this time.
Yeah. We told the PFL. We told them. Well, I think they got it now. I think
they did. Yeah. Hey, beat the dead horse.
Yeah. Once in a while, you got to. Man, well, so pumped. Always love having you on. Dude, always appreciate your time. Like you said, I just told that story with John before you got on. My Dylan, who's now 8, we have soccer practice. He's in the 3rd grade. He just got glasses this past week. He's like a grown man almost. He was a baby, and we were watching Chris Mixon in the Ocean Center. And it's been a great journey, man. So pumped. 26 years young, still a huge future in front of you. 7-1. Mr. Cossack himself, Chris Mixon. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, man. Have a good one.
You
Great
too.
Chris Mixon. Dude, love that guy. Great dude. 7-1. Big future, Leah. Big future.